These are the facility improvements at Foothill High School that were made with Measure G and Measure L funds. We're very thankful to the Tustin Unified community for having passed these bonds. It's enabled us to transform our campuses at both Foothill and Tustin. We chose to bring the Foothill improvements here because most of the FCA, not all, but most of the FCA area is in the Foothill district. This is the Science Building, which if you haven't had a chance to see it, is absolutely striking. We chose to make it a signature building because it's on the corner of Foothill Boulevard and Newport, and it has enormous visibility. And we didn't want something that made the community look less attractive. We wanted something that would really make North Tustin look terrific. We also landscaped on Newport Boulevard, which again, these curb appeal issues are very, very important to home values. So even if one doesn't have children in schools, it's a very important part of the community. People look at a school, and if it looks good, they think it's a good school. Now, we do have good schools, in addition to the fact that they look good. This is the Foothill Pool, which is Olympic size. The Olympic water polo team has played here already. It's something that the swim community and the water polo community at Foothill wanted for years and years and years. And it was a combination of G&L funds that made this possible. It's a fantastic pool. If you haven't had a chance to get over there, you should get over and look at it. Then this year, we just opened the Foothill Event Center, and that is a combination building that has, Foothill does not have a large theater, it only has a small theater. So this building functions both as a second gym, something that's needed today because of the advent of Title IX and girls' sports. So there are twice as many teams as there were when Foothill High School was built in 1960, whatever it was. So this has a special kind of floor that can be used both for performance and for basketball and volleyball. It also has a stage, so it can be used for that. And there's a wing with classrooms. They have a weight room, a dance room, an extra classroom. It's terrific. All the teams that use weights, which are many of them, are thrilled to have the weight room. The dance room is spectacular. Again, well worth going to take a look at. You will probably be invited to different community events at Foothill and have a chance to see it yourself. So that's the Foothill Event Center. This was paid for with Measure L funds. The pool was a mix of L and G, and the Science Center was G. This is the new Foothill tennis courts, and we have expanded across the street to Hillview, which was always used by Foothill anyway, but it hadn't actually been developed. It was completely regraded and flat, and so the soccer field there is now regulation size with full space on either side where you can actually watch the games as opposed to, being squeezed into a very narrow space. We dedicated that field to Barry Turner, who was the coach for 20-some years at Foothill and a teacher at Hillview, who has unfortunately come down with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. We had a very moving dedication of that facility to Barry. And these are the tennis courts, which are fabulous. They're for community use as well as the high school, and they're just beautiful. So these are the things that the community investments in Measure L and Measure G have enabled us to do. And for a relatively small ad valorem tax, it stays in the community. It doesn't go to Sacramento and get regurgitated in some crazy way. It's money that we get to keep. We get to watch. There's Citizens Oversight Committee that watches all the expenditures, and we are thrilled, and thank you very much to everyone who voted for this. This is for the district as a whole, and it's over a 10-year period. 800 is considered passing. We passed the passing grade, or satisfactory grade, in 2006. And since then, we continue to increase. In 2012, we're up to 868. That's tremendous for a district like Tustin Unified that has a very diverse population because, of course, we include part of Santa Ana, part of the whole city of Tustin, and part of the city of Irvine. And to have that kind of API with the population that we serve is a tremendous achievement. We mirror the average demographics of the state and the county, but we way outperform the average district. And that's really a tribute to the parents, the teachers, the principals, the administrators, and all the efforts and commitment that people have to Tustin Unified. And then last but not least is our funding, which is really a very sad story. In spite of this downturn in funding, we have still been performing, as you've seen on that chart. And here the brown line shows what we actually get. The blue line is what we theoretically get from the state. I'm sure you've heard of Proposition 98, but it's just almost comical. I hate to say that, but if our funding had been flat per pupil, that's that line. This goes back to 2007. So we've had 5 years of declining dollars per student. Class sizes are larger. Elementary music and art are gone. Class size in K3, which was 20-1 for about 15 years, is back up to 30. Yes, we're still performing, and I never hear the principals and teachers complaining. They just put their nose to the grindstone and keep working, which is what you want them to do. But we are coming to a tipping point, which is why we do have on the ballot today, this year, it's called Measure S, and it is a technology bond that would provide, first of all, infrastructure for every site, a pipeline that will allow us to have state-of-the-art technology. It also provides an ongoing stream. That's accomplished with $15 million in bonds up front. And then every 3 years, if bonds are issued to buy new technology. This fund cannot be used for administration. It cannot be even used for teacher salaries, but it can be used for teacher training, and it can be used for tech support so that we don't buy equipment and have it fall apart. And the students of today are very different than even my children were, who are in their 20s. The students of today start using iPads when they're 2 years old, so they respond to technology. And it's this would really put Tustin at the leading edge of what's happening in education, and that's where we want to be. We're doing really well with what we have, and we appreciate all the funding we've gotten for buildings. We'd really like to put technology and tech support. The other part of this is STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, and that emphasis is very important for us to compete globally, and this will enable us to do that. We have, for instance, a class at Foothill High School where they build a car and they go to a contest at UCI at the end of the year where whoever's car goes the farthest on the least amount of gas or whatever. And our students, there were 30 districts that competed, and Foothill and Tustin took 2 and 3. But we only have enough money to do it for a small number of students. We want more classes like that, hands-on technology. That's the kind of thing that this funding would enable us to do. The cost is very moderate, and I don't mean to diminish it, but my water bill is $300 or $300 to $400 a month. This is $19 per $100,000 assessed valuation. So if your house is assessed, not your selling price, but your assessed value is, say, $500,000, that means you're going to pay less than $100 a year. And that really is a very moderate investment for which you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. Again, there would be an oversight committee, and that oversight committee would be responsible not only for overseeing expenditures, but also for advising us. We have the Vice President for Technology for the Irvine Company who's volunteered to be on that committee. She lives in our district. So that's the kind of person that we would want on the advisory committee, not because she works for the Irvine Company, but because she's knowledgeable about technology. We want people who really understand technology and have a vision and are professionals. We want them on the oversight committee to be advisors as well as overseers. And we've been very happy with the oversight committees we've had for Measure G and Measure L. So we hope you'll consider voting for Measure S, and thank you very, very much. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call the district. Our superintendent is Greg Franklin, and he'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. The phone number at the district is 714-730-7305. Or you can always call me. I'm 714-731-0922. And I'm Francine Cinto, and I've served on the board for 16 years. And I'm a former president of FCA many years ago.